Celestial Child and Nova Laos. Both are characters from an ongoing novel called Hybrid, Mage. I will first talk about the cosmology. Then, we will get to the scale of both the characters. Ethos is energy, which acts as fuel. And the humans who produce them are called ethereals. Ethereals are able to create abilities, which are called skills. Ethos seems to transcend and bypass every law, concept, dimension, principle, platonic truth, platonic concept, etc. to ever exist. And humans can manipulate ethos. Nova Laos is an awakening ethereal, hence being superior to other humans by a long margin. There are pocket dimensions in the verse called clash dimensions. Clash dimensions are pocket dimensions inside the school that are the size of a planet and are used for official duel matches and training between students. The Divine Tournament is a battle royal that happens once a year. It involves taking the top 5 strongest students from every Athenian school across this world and Valhalla, placing them in a pocket dimension that holds a battle arena which can be as large as 4x the size of the universe. Next is the battle dimension, which is the size of many multiverses. The universe in the verse is infinite in size, and it holds infinite galaxies and infinite solar systems while also following a single timeline. The multiverses in the verse hold infinitely growing amounts of alternate universes and timelines that increase at the rate of 1 nanosecond equals 1 new alternate universe and timeline. Realities are a construct that has an infinite number of multiverses while also growing at an infinite rate. The beyond is a construct that is a void of existence, that is beyond the concepts of space-time, while also holding all the previous dimensions and constructs. The null is a structure that is made up of only ethos, energy, that is so impure and volatile that it completely destroys and eases the existence of anything that enters it, that is not an awakened ethereal. Existence does not end at the null. There is more, in fact, with each realm, as you probably guessed, viewing the previous as a fiction and or not real. The one after the null is known as the Genesis. There are endless transcending layers of Genesis. The next are omegas, and omegas are the constructs that house everything that has been mentioned, with there being an infinite number of them as well. Now we have a very large and complex construct known as the chaos void. The chaos void is a construct that exists outside and in between the omegas with it, having 3 hierarchies much like the Genesis known as the delta realms, inner realms, and outer realms. The delta realms, being an infinite hierarchy, have an infinite number of layers with each one transcending its predecessor and viewing it as fiction. This naturally also applies to the inner and outer realms. You should also bear in mind that just the first delta realm is beyond concepts and laws that are associated to such things like dimensionality. We are talking about realms that transcend the concepts of the abstract. Each and every single inner realm contains an infinite hierarchy of delta realms. Each and every single outer realm containing both infinite hierarchies of delta realms and inner realms, and each and every single outer realm containing both infinite hierarchies of delta realms and inner realms. What this means is that the hierarchy delta realms within the 100th inner realm views all the previous inner realms and delta realms before it as fiction. Everything I have just said now is all housed within one relic, and there's an uncountable amount of these relics, with some being greater than others. The only thing outside the relics is non-existence. For relics comes 2 realities which can hold beyond infinite beings like ethos, an identical new reality that had a higher status than the original. These 2 realities were named as the lower reality being named vessel space and the higher reality being named cardinal space. The vessel space is the original reality and cardinal space is new reality, but the new reality is superior to the original reality. Over these 2 realities comes the zero C, which separates and transcends both of these realities. More new narratives and stories were created which identical yet different in many aspects. Eden fruit is the next thing in the cosmology of this verse, and it holds all the narratives, all the stories and which were ever created. There are branches which holds these fruits, and the number of these branches are beyond any imaginable infinity. And all those branches exist on a single tree termed as the chronicle tree, and there are endless amounts of these trees inside the forest, which holds endless stories. The place beyond everything mentioned below, the place from where the celestial child constructs all these structures, stories and realities, is called the golden room, from which the celestial child creates its imaginative worlds. The cosmology is backed up by sources and statements In the page I used to find this information, so the information is credible, but let's now scale both of them. Let's scale Nova Laos first. Nova Laos' destructive capability is on relic level and he has tons of abilities and hexes, but the problem is that the verse is not good with describing the level of infinity. There is not much mentions of types of infinity. It's just the usual infinite layers hierarchy being repeated in a higher pattern, which without any specification is unscalable, but with assumptions and some of the statements regarding concepts, we can scale Nova Laos to high hyper to outerversal. People confuse the scaling of infinite hierarchies to be inaccessible layers into boundless one without specification. It is just high hyperversal. The statements of concepts can possibly scale him up to outer, but that's the farthest he can be scaled for. Now let's talk about the Celestial Child. Celestial Child with the statements talking about creation of realities, narratives, stories, structures as well as statements suggesting it deals with amounts higher than any imaginable form of infinity, can likely scale it to its max at boundless. With proper scaling, it could also stop at high outer. Similar to the justification I gave before, the novel doesn't properly mention the level of infinity, therefore we can't just directly assume vague statements to be true and scale them, and as the statement suggesting a dealing with amounts higher than any imaginable amount of infinity is vague, it can't go any higher than high outer, and with highest interpretation, the verse caps at baseline boundless, for now as the verse is still ongoing.